So the therapeutic medicines bill is something that we have an opportunity to get more regulation. When I first started in the industry 20 years ago, the dermal fillers especially were still considered prescription medicines. In the last probably 5 or 6 years, that's deteriorated to them being a medical device. And that basically means that they don't have to have any approval by MedSafe, so anybody can import anything to stick into someone's face as a dermal filler, and there is no regulation about who actually provides those treatments. When we consider that these are the last treatments that we get our clinically based injectors, our nurses and doctors trained in, because of the amount of skill and anatomical knowledge that's required, and the potential risks that we need to be aware of, that scares me. And I think that there is a real opportunity here if we can follow the lead of the UK in at least starting to put some regulation around these procedures. We're going to avoid, hopefully, some serious side effects from happening. Unfortunately, I think it's going to take having a serious side effect for someone before the government starts pushing things forward and it gets noticed. I really hope that isn't the case. And you know, seeing that the UK has been considered, I guess, the Wild West of our industry in terms of who can provide treatments in the UK, which is anybody. To see that the UK is starting to provide regulation around the use in minors gives me hope that the New Zealand government will follow the same suit. I think social media plays a massive part with a lot of the body image disorders that are coming through. It creates a completely unrealistic view of what people's lives are. You know, nobody ever puts a bad shot on their Instagram. So what we're seeing is other people's highlight reels and assuming that's how they live their lives. And that puts a lot of pressure on women, especially in those younger age groups. You know, I think that there's a massive responsibility that anybody in social media has to make sure that we're sending the right message around what our lives are like. But also, I guess, unfortunately, it's people like the Kardashians who are having these treatments really young, completely, in my opinion, distorting the natural features of the face and making that appear like it's a normal thing. And I think that there needs to be a lot more regulation potentially of that element of social media, but also responsibility on the influencers themselves. I think it's really tough for these teenagers these days. There's so much more pressure on them than what we had growing up. And I really feel for them. You know, I'm so old, I don't feel like I have the opportunity to give advice in that area because I don't have the answers to those challenges. But you know, the teens and 20s are when people are at their most beautiful naturally. And so I would encourage all of us, not just teens, to actually embrace what is unique and different and special about ourselves, and celebrate that. It's not about looking like the person on Instagram who, interestingly, when you see people who have had a lot of work that look great on Instagram, when you see them in natural, real life, they don't look that great. I would rather that you looked amazing in person.